Because it gets even wilder, chat. It gets even wilder. We've spoken about this on my channel. The Infinity Nikki situation. Sorry, not Nikki situation, which Black Beacon has been like burning their reputation on global recently. And then like Nikki came in and we're like, you know what? Hey, we're not one for getting shown up, and they just decided to burn the reputation everywhere. With all that going on, apparently like fans were planning a boycott, but across different socials, I think in the Discord and I think maybe in the Reddit as well, people were getting banned, and apparently they were muting the word boycott. So people are planning a girlcott now, which I think is kind of based actually, considering the game it is. So let's have a look at this. This is from Voice, so of course, right, yeah, I get it's Voice, right, I get it's Voice, but I wanted to have a look at this. So, Infinity Nikki community plans girlcott after developer mute boycott in ongoing update 1.5 drama. The Infinity Nikki fandom has launched a girlcott after the game's developer allegedly banned boycott from the social media platforms. Let's have a little look at this. And the Infinity Nikki community has launched a girlcott after the developer Info Games allegedly censored the word boycott. Now, I don't know how true this is. I'm only going off what I'm seeing in like the Reddit and here as well. And I've seen people talking about it on Twitter. On the game's social media platforms, the fashion RPG, which has a large female player base, is now facing backlash from players following ongoing drama surrounding the Infinity Nikki 1.5 update. Then we can see here as well, Gongius. I'm guessing this is like a switch on Gorgeous. I don't know what this is all about, but you know, okay. I think this is kind of based though. This is kind of based. I think this is funny. Shout out to the Infinity Nikki community. I had a lot of people commenting on my previous video. I don't play the game. I haven't played the game, but I thought it was worth talking about. And people saying, thanks for like talking about this. I had a couple of people saying, leave my company alone, which was kind of weird, considering I just don't see, you know, of course, you can argue that it's not the worst thing in the world, but I think it's a little bit like kind of weird to be defending it. Surely you want the game to be better. Drama surrounding Infinity Nikki has seemingly spiraled out of control as the gacha games developer has stepped into yet another controversy. For those out of the loop, the popular RPG has recently had a disastrous launch on Steam after fans realised that the 1.5 update had added an 11-piece outfit to the game. In gacha terms, this increased the game's wish banner to an insane 220 pity. I think he increased it by 40, right? This led the Chinese Infinity Nikki community to launch a boycott and flood Steam forums to warn other players from playing the game. Now, you know you fucked up when CN's angry, right? We can look at Black Beacon and be like, they're ignoring EN. Okay, all right, but when CN's angry, can't really ignore that. So I'd love to see what happens now over the coming days and weeks for Infinity Nikki. Are they just going to staunchly ignore all of this? Because I just don't think they can. I don't think they can. So I'll be really curious to what happens. One of the sad things I thought, though, was how they've, like, changed the start of the game. Now, as somebody who didn't play it, it sounded like this really cool, quirky isekai adventure. And it seems like even just, like, the scenes that they've changed to look worse. They just visually look worse as well. Not even coming from a thematic standpoint. They just look worse. It's kind of a shame, really. So anybody new coming into the game now won't get to experience that original aspect that a lot of people said was a really good aspect of the game, which is a shame. Kind of a weird thing to do when you think about it, right? But it only got worse from there as the community became further enraged when they discovered that Info Games had also retconned the opening story, as we just said, section of Infinity Nikki. In a possible attempt to quell the discontent, players report that the developer has now muted the word boycott on all social media platforms, such as Discord and Reddit. Insane to do when you think about it. You know, I understand, you know, wanting to maybe stop people being insane, because we know people do that, but, you know, I get that they don't want people boycotting it, but I think you're just going to make people mad when you're kind of silencing those sort of things, right? It's not going to go the way you want it to go, I think. Kind of like a bit of a Barbra Streisand effect almost. The move has seemingly backfired, surprising, as it has only united both the Chinese and international community. Damn, now you're in trouble when Global and CN get together. Woo, you know, that's like when the Z fighters get together, you're fucked, you know? At first, you might have just been fighting Krillin and you're like, yeah, fuck this guy, this bald little shit. He ain't gonna do nothing. And then Vegeta and Goku turn up and you're like, oh, damn, fuck. Now, yeah, oh, shit, we fucked it. Now, we screwed the pooch. So, yeah, it's not great. To launch a girlcott, I love that. That's so based. To get around the censorship, players have been encouraging fellow stylists to spam a girlcott on social media. We got some issues here as well. Ain't no way this game is going to get ridiculous. We need, what's this? Can we have a look at the image? Oh, we can't. Let's zoom in a little bit so you guys can see this, yeah? We need code words, girlies, like really ridiculous code words that feel awful to ban. Girl solidarity, girl fight back. Yo, that is so based. That's so based. Someone more creative than me help. Solidarity with our fellow Chinese players. Girlcott today. You know they ain't gonna want to fucking mute that, man. That's fucking sick. Shout out to the Infinity Nikki community, man. Hey, a woman scorned, right? A woman scorned, man. They're gonna learn the hard way. The word boycott is also just straight up blacklisted on the official sub. Tried to respond to someone's complaints earlier, telling them that telling them the same concerns of why the CN server are boycotting, and as soon as that word came in the comment field, turned red and wouldn't let me post. Insane. Insane. The controversy continues. Over the Infinity Nikki subreddit, players vented their frustrations at the studio for banning boycott from their socials. Ain't no way, we need gold girls. We just read that, right? This new girlcott development is notable as Infinity Nikki has a large female player base, which we know this. Well, it's obvious, but we looked at the TikTok accounts, didn't we? And you can see the gender of followers, which obviously is not a one-to-one representation of the game, but it's probably quite close. You're gonna, the people following the official TikTok, there's probably a large portion of them are playing the game, right? You know, and it was around 70%, so it's safe to say that the majority of the players are girls, right? So 70% of the game's active community, so the use of girlcott is now becoming a rallying cry for the fandom to voice their discontent. The girlcott campaign instantly spread like wildfire on social media platforms such as Reddit, as players began to use the in-game Infinity Nikki photo feature to spotlight the girlcott hashtag. I love this chat. I fucking love this, man. This is fucking mint, this is. Shout out to the community, man. Got permanently banned from official Discord for posting this. No way. That's insane, isn't it? You know, I don't know what. I'm not salty. It's just funny at this point. Now, I wonder what, was it just the image? Is that what they just posted there, what they've said just above it? I'm not salty. It's just funny at this point, or was there some other context to it? Let's be fair, there might have been. They might have said something a little bit more inflammatory, right, that got them banned. But if they did get banned just for this, that's insane, you know? That's insane. You're literally just reporting facts, right? You know? It's not like you're saying, oh, fuck this game, it's shit. But just posting the Steam reviews at the moment, which they have got to accept. That's how Steam works. It's going to happen. To get banned for that, insane. Insane. Permanent as well. Permaban, man, bro. Despite Info Games issuing an apology on April 29th, the Infinity Nikki community doesn't seem to be accepting it. Apology doesn't mean shit at the end of the day, does it? Look at Black Beacon. Unless you're acting upon it, you know? It really doesn't mean shit. In fact, the outrage and anger only seem to be growing by the day. The developers reported moves to mute criticism has only made things worse. Calls for girlcott first started on May 1st, when a player made a Reddit thread claiming it had been permanently banned from the official Infinity Nikki Discord. The user's crime, posting a picture of the game's negative Steam reviews. Well, that's what we can be led to believe, because that's what they said. But we know the internet. I think we've all been around enough now. That doesn't necessarily mean that's true, but we can only go off what they said, right? I'm not calling them a liar at all, but you know, you know what they posted right before that, right? You're just saying you don't know. It might have been something worse. This culminated in the community feeling that the developer was purposely shutting down any criticism. I think that's fair to come to that thought process about the Infinity Nikki 1.5 update. Even if you don't care about gacha games, the Nikki drama, in my opinion, is important. It raises a question: what happens if a game's player base says no? What happens when the players are so upset that a game risks losing its entire community? I think this is fair. Like, I don't get involved in a lot of the let's shit on Star L, let's shit on Genshin stuff, right? I will speak about stuff though that I think can come out of that game and spread, you know, like the Castorist global passive, you know, these sort of things when games are retroactively changing things, the Black Beacon stuff when they're shitting on one group of the player base. This is bigger than the game, right? It's one thing if a game has a bad patch. Okay, I don't play that game. I don't care. But when there's nefarious stuff happening in the game, like rates being changed, player bases getting insulted, disrespected, then I think it's time to be like, oh, that's something worth acknowledging, because this could spread, and if people don't say no, could affect us all, couldn't it? I think there is times when it's like, maybe there's a time to draw a line in the sand, you know what I mean? I wonder which game would EOS first, Black Beacon or Infinity Nikki? I don't know, man. I think they're speedrunning it at this time, right? I think they're speedrunning it at this time, but I think it could be Black Beacon, you know, honestly. Damn, I thought Nikki was such a good game at launch. How'd they fuck this up? Insane, right, Realm? Insane. That was a Pulse's date of birth. What was that? 1984 in-game players. That was a Pulse's date of birth. How long has Infinity Nikki been around? I'm not exactly sure, to be fair, Zaxoff. Do I read the chat? I do, yeah. I'm just reading this at the moment, but I do read the chat. Where were we at? Okay. It's easy to forget that Infinity Nikki was a beloved game just a few months ago when it came out in 2024. There you go. There's the answer. I don't know exactly when. I think it was it early 2024 or was it late 2024? Let me know. The RPG had one of the most laid-back communities in the industry. For many women and groups, Infinity Nikki was considered the antidote to toxic gaming trends, so it's incredible to see a beloved RPG lose its fandom this quickly. However, at least from what I've seen, the player as well, wasn't Infinity Nikki doing pretty well on revenue as well? I don't think it was setting the world alight, but I don't think it needed to make the changes it made, right? I've seen some people try and argue that, oh, well, they needed to add certain things because it needed to be done, but it's like, they could have just added those. They could have been part of the other parts of the garments, right? It didn't need to get additional pieces. I think that's a bit of a bad defense, personally. They could have just said, we're going to add the socks to this part of the outfit or however it works. I don't know, but I don't. That's like saying, oh, you know, we needed to add a different design to a weapon, so we've added a second part of a weapon now, so you're going to have 2 weapon banners. It's like, did you really need to do that? I don't think you did. So, yeah. However, at least from what I've seen from players, girlcott means more than just criticizing a game's recent update. Instead, the campaign is a community standing together to voice their fear that they're not being heard, and I think that's a fair thing. This is insane, actually. This is chat. This is insane. It is insane, right? If Blackbeak in EOS, I hope they realised it was easily avoidable and was entirely their own fault. Agree, Ken. Agree. The same thing with this, right? This is in a situation where, obviously, Black Beacon's a little bit different. It had a really bad launch. It's had its problems. But I think at the core of it, there's a good game there, right? In terms of the combat. And the banners are really generous, all that sort of stuff. And they've fucked it themselves, haven't they? This isn't a perfect example of that again. Games come out. People seem to really like it who play it. You know. It's visually pleasing. It's developed itself a core fan base that really appreciates the game. And then they've gone, wow, this is really good. We appreciate all the support. Now we're just going to burn it to the ground. Insane. Like, insane. Again, as I say, I don't know the exact revenue numbers because none of us do. But as far as I'm aware, this game is doing okay, I believe. So to then do the things they've been doing, it's kind of crazy, right? It's actually kind of crazy that they've gone to this they've gone down this route for the game. It's a shame. It's a shame. And as somebody who doesn't play the game, I like to see the game's doing well. I'm a gamer. I want to see everybody have fun with it, right? So yeah, 1,984 in game. So yeah, man, wild times in the gacha space. It seems like the space is imploding, chat. Imploding, right? The Black Beacon situation, this right now. Who's next, right? Who's next? Which game's about to do some wild shit and just burn all the goodwill that they've had recently? It's actually kind of crazy. I kind of like this stuff, though. Well, I don't, because it's shitty for the industry, but it's kind of better than CCs going to each other's throats or communities. At least there's some unification here. And we're seeing CC Global come together to stop some pretty nefarious stuff in a game. And I'd love to know what you guys think about this one. And yeah, I think I'm going to upload this as well. So let me know what you think in the comment section. Give it a like, all that good stuff. The Infinity Nikki drama continues.